The official history of the human species has been shattered by this 5,000-year-old map. And we are asking questions. Did they also have air travel? They knew that the Earth was round with all these land masses, oceans marking on these maps. How did they know? If conventional wisdom on the history of the human race is correct, that means that human civilization is not old enough, nor was it advanced enough, to account for many of these mysterious monolithic and archaeological sites all over the world. Places like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, the Bosnian pyramids, and Adam's calendar in South Africa, they beg the same question. If human civilization is supposedly not old enough to have created all of these sites, then who or what had the capacity to create so many elaborate and advanced structures around the globe? It's clear that our understanding of our own history is not complete. There's plenty of credible evidence pointing to the existence of intelligent and civilized cultures on Earth long before the first human cultures emerged from the Middle East around 4000 BC. The Admiral Piri Reis map of the world of 1513 is part of the emerging, more complete story of our history. It's one that challenges mainstream thinking in big ways. How did they know of all these continents, especially Antarctica, which was supposedly discovered in the 1800s? Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Map making is a complex and civilized task, thought to have emerged around 1000 BC with the Babylonian clay tablets. Antarctica was officially first sighted by a Russian expedition in 1820 and is entirely covered in ice caps thought to have formed about 34 to 45 million years ago. So that obviously has to change now. Antarctica therefore should not be seen on any map prior to 1820, and all cited maps of Antarctica should contain the polar ice caps, which are supposedly millions of years old. A world map made by Ottoman cartographer and military admiral Piri Reis casts doubt on what we think we know about ancient civilization. The Piri Reis map, which focuses on Western Africa, the east coast of South America, and the north coast of Antarctica, features the details of a coastline that many historians and geologists believe represents Queen Maud Land, that is, Antarctica. Remarkably, as represented in the map, the frigid continent was not covered in ice caps, but rather with dense vegetation. So how could a map drawn in 1513 feature a continent that was not discovered until 1820? And if the continent had in fact been discovered by one of the civilizations known to have emerged after 4000 BC, why were the ice caps not on the map? The paradoxes presented by the map were of little significance to the world until Charles Hapgood, a history professor from New Hampshire, USA, claimed that the information in the Piri Reis map supported a different view of geology and ancient history. Hapgood believed that the map verified his global geologic theory, which explains how portions of Antarctica could have remained ice-free until 4000 BC. Hapgood's presentation is so convincing that even famed theoretical physicist and philosopher Albert Einstein wrote the following supportive foreword to a book that Hapgood wrote in 1953. Albert Einstein wrote, "His idea is original, of great simplicity, and if it continues to prove itself, of great importance to everything that is related to the history of Earth's surface. Unquestionably not a hoax, the map is certifiably authentic, but the information on the map is of mysterious origin." Piri Reis himself noted that the map was drawn from information sourced from other older maps, charts, and logs, many of which Hapgood suggests may have been copied and transcribed repeatedly since before the destruction of the ancient library of Alexandria in Egypt. Alexandria being a city established in Egypt by Alexander the Great, who lived around 313 BC. So the Library of Alexandria in Egypt was wiped out, and it wiped out the literature of antiquity and the vast cultural knowledge available to the ancients up to then. This hypothesis opens the door to the possibility that some forgotten ancient civilization had the capacity to voyage to the Antarctic, charting the Earth with technology to make maps sometimes before the ice caps formed, the significant departure from our present understanding of our history. The absence of the ice caps in the Piri-Reis map is peculiar, and in 1960 Hapgood brought his theories on this to the attention of the United States Air Force. Hapgood asked, among other things, if the shape of the continent as it appeared on the Piri-Reis map was at all similar to the shape of the continent under the ice, as revealed by recent Air Force testing of seismic data on the continent. And the answer was astonishing. Harold Z. Ohlmeyer, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force Commander, said this: "The geographical detail shown in the lower part of the map agrees very remarkably with the results of the seismic profile made across the top of the ice cap by the Swedish-British Antarctic expedition of 1949. This indicates the coastline had been mapped before it was covered by the ice cap. The ice cap in this region is now about a mile thick. We have no idea how the data on this map can be reconciled with the supposed state of geographical knowledge in 1513. If Hapgood's theory has merit, as even Einstein believed, then there was a period of time from around 13,000 BC to 6,000 BC, that again it takes up the time lap of the Younger Dryas Comet, when Antarctica was located more closely to the equator and was more tropical in climate, much like parts of South America. This was caused by a sudden shift of the Earth's entire lithosphere, he theorized, simultaneously moving all of the continents into their present position, a much different view than the widely accepted explanation offered the plate tectonic theory. So if Antarctica had indeed been further north than it is presently, and was not covered in ice only as recently as 6,000 BC, then who was around back then that could have mapped it long before any known civilizations? And who could have done so long before the advent of the marine chronometer in the 18th century, which finally solved the problem of accurately tracking longitude on the high seas? Had the entire Earth already been mapped by 4000 BC by a civilization that has been forgotten? An analysis of the Piri-Reis map and the theories of Charles Hapgood suggest. This is by Buck Rogers of Waking Times, and it's on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.